the quiet homes of Pascagoula, Mississippi, a chilling intruder was at work, not to steal valuables or inflict violence, but to cut the hair from sleeping women. It was a terror that gripped the Gulf Coast in the 1940s, a strange, precise violation that left behind a bizarre calling card and the town paralyzed by fear. This was the reign of the Phantom Barber. The first incident that truly shook the community occurred on June 18, 1942. The victim was 17-year-old Mary Evelyn Grubbs. She lived in a modest home on Pascagoula's Ingalls Avenue. That night, she had gone to sleep like any other, the humid Mississippi air thick and still. But she awoke to a chilling discovery. A large section of her long, dark hair, neatly cut, lay beside her on her pillow. The window screen had been cut, clearly indicating an intruder. Yet nothing else was disturbed, and Mary Evelyn had slept through the entire ordeal. The act was so precise, so quiet, that it defied belief. Who would do such a thing, and why? Initially, local authorities, led by Police Chief Howard E. Nelson, treated the incident with some skepticism. A young girl, perhaps a prank or a vivid dream? But Mary Evelyn's distress was genuine, her parents deeply disturbed. They insisted this was no childish mischief. The cut screen was undeniable evidence of an invasion. Word began to spread through the small, tight-knit town. Whispers turned to apprehension. Was this a disturbed individual, a new kind of predator? The town, nestled by the water, known for its shipbuilding and quiet rhythm, suddenly felt a cold hand gripping its heart. Just days later, on June 29, the fear solidified into a horrifying reality. This time, the victims were two children, daughters of a prominent local citizen, Mr. and Mrs. R.H. Taylor, who lived in a grander home on Jackson Avenue. Their 5-year-old and 7-year-old daughters, sleeping soundly, both had locks of their hair neatly snipped away. Again, a window screen was found cut. Again, the family had heard nothing, seen nothing. Two more victims, two more instances of this silent, disturbing intrusion. This was no isolated incident. This was a pattern. This was the work of someone deliberate, someone with a strange, unsettling purpose. The city was now gripped by a palpable terror. Pascagoula, a town of around 5,000 residents, felt its sense of safety shatter. Parents pulled their children closer, locking windows and doors that had rarely been secured before. Men formed neighborhood watch groups, patrolling the streets at night, armed with shotguns and flashlights. The local newspaper, the Chronicle-Star, became a conduit for both information and fear, reporting each new incident with growing alarm. The term Phantom Barber began to circulate, capturing the elusive, almost supernatural nature of the intruder. This wasn't a common thief. This was something far stranger, far more insidious, preying on a fundamental sense of security in one's own home. Chief Nelson, now taking the threat with the utmost seriousness, found himself in an impossible position. How do you catch someone who leaves no fingerprints, takes nothing of value, and operates in such utter silence? The methods of investigation in 1942 were rudimentary by today's standards. Forensic science was in its infancy. There was no DNA analysis, no sophisticated surveillance. Detectives were left with witness testimony, which was non-existent, and circumstantial evidence, which was meager. The cut screens were the only consistent physical evidence, hinting at a small, nimble intruder perhaps, but little else. The community demanded action, but the police had no leads, no motive, and no suspect. The Phantom Barber remained just that. Then the attacks took an even darker turn, escalating the fear from mere violation to potential violence. On August 3, Mrs. Katie Meller, a 60-year-old widow, became the Phantom Barber's next victim. She woke to find her hair cut, but also discovered that her house had been thoroughly ransacked. This act suggested a shift in the perpetrator's behavior, moving beyond the mere fetishistic cutting of hair to include traditional home invasion. Was the Phantom Barber evolving, or was this a separate crime, piggybacking on the fear the barber had already sown? The ambiguity only deepened the terror. The town began to wonder, what if the next target wasn't just hair? What if the next victim didn't wake up? The psychological impact on Pascagoula was profound. Sleep became a luxury, not a right. Every creak of a floorboard, every rustle outside a window sent shivers down spines. Women, especially those with long hair, felt personally targeted, their femininity itself under attack. The once trusting community fractured, suspicion creeping in amongst neighbors. Who could commit such a bizarre act? Was it someone known? Someone hiding in plain sight? The lack of any clear motive made the attacks all the more disturbing. If it wasn't for money or traditional revenge, then what dark impulse drove this individual? The uncertainty gnawed at the collective consciousness. As the summer wore on, and with no arrests, the frustration mounted. Local authorities, desperate for a breakthrough, brought in bloodhounds, hoping to track a scent. The dogs were led to a window of one of the victims' homes, but their trail quickly dissipated at the edge of the property, lost in the busy streets and the hot, dusty environment. Reward money was offered, increasing the pressure on investigators, but still, no credible leads emerged. The police were working in the dark, chasing shadows. The Phantom Barber seemed to anticipate every move, leaving no trace, making every attempt to identify them futile. The case was becoming a national sensation, yet remained stubbornly local in its impact, a unique terror story unfolding in a small American town. Then, a breakthrough, or so it seemed, arrived on August 21 when officers arrested William Allison, a 57-year-old German immigrant. Allison was a short, slight man, working as a shipfitter at the Ingalls shipyard, a major employer in Pascagoula. He had a reputation for being quiet, even reclusive, and had a small workshop filled with peculiar tools. What led to his arrest? It was a combination of circumstantial evidence and community suspicion. A neighbor reported seeing Allison peering into windows. He was also known to have an unusually keen interest in women's hair, a detail that, in retrospect, seemed to fit the bizarre crime perfectly. He was brought in for questioning, the town holding its breath, hoping this was the end of their nightmare. During interrogation, Allison initially denied everything. However, under sustained pressure, a confession was reportedly extracted. Police claimed he admitted to cutting the hair of several women, driven by an unexplainable urge. They also found a collection of hair clippings in his workshop, which, while not directly tied to the victims, certainly fueled suspicion. The Pascagoula Chronicle-Star ran banner headlines announcing the capture of the Phantom Barber. The town breathed a collective sigh of relief. It seemed the bizarre reign of terror was over. The relief was palpable, but it was also fragile. What happened next would challenge the entire narrative and plunge the community back into uncertainty. If you find yourself fascinated by the dark corners of human behavior and the strange cases that defy easy answers, consider subscribing to Verita Crime. Your support helps us continue uncovering these unsolved mysteries. The trial of William Allison was a spectacle. The prosecution presented the confession, the collected hair, and the neighbors' testimonies as irrefutable proof. They painted a picture of a disturbed individual, driven by a strange compulsion. However, the defense quickly moved to discredit the confession, arguing it was coerced, a product of intense interrogation tactics common at the time but ethically questionable. They highlighted Allison's quiet nature, his lack of any prior criminal record, and the fact that the hair found in his workshop could not be definitively linked to any of the victims. Perhaps most crucially, Allison recanted his confession, stating he had only confessed under duress, hoping to end the relentless questioning. The jury, faced with conflicting accounts and a lack of concrete evidence, struggled with the truth. The verdict came swiftly: not guilty. William Allison was acquitted of all charges. The town was stunned. The relief that had washed over Pascagoula evaporated, replaced by renewed fear and confusion. If Allison wasn't the Phantom Barber, then who was? And where were they? The acquittal meant the menace was still out there, lurking in the shadows. The police, embarrassed and frustrated, had no other leads. The case had fallen apart, leaving more questions than answers. The incident highlighted the immense challenge of proving guilt without definitive evidence, especially in cases driven by psychological disturbance rather than conventional motives. The acquittal of Allison meant the investigation was back to square one, but the energy and resources were dwindling. The war effort, specifically World War II, was escalating, drawing attention and personnel away from local criminal cases. The Phantom Barber, unmasked for a brief, uncertain moment, had once again faded into the realm of the unknown. No new viable suspects emerged. The attacks, which had been so brazen and frequent during the summer, ceased abruptly after Allison's arrest and subsequent trial. Did the real Phantom Barber disappear? Did they move on? Did they simply stop, satisfied with the terror they had wrought, or perhaps spooked by the near capture of an innocent man? The why of the Phantom Barber case remains its most perplexing element. What could motivate someone to repeatedly break into homes, often at great risk, solely to cut hair from sleeping victims? Psychologists at the time speculated about various compulsions, a fetish for hair, a desire for control, or even a twisted form of sexual gratification, though no sexual assaults were reported in connection with the haircutting itself. The absence of traditional criminal motives, robbery, revenge, or physical harm, placed the Phantom Barber in a category all its own, making the perpetrator's psychology the central, terrifying mystery. It tapped into primal fears of vulnerability and the sanctity of the home, transforming them into a bizarre, unsettling reality. Over the decades, the legend of the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula became a local cautionary tale, a piece of dark folklore passed down through generations. Children were warned to lock their windows. The story served as a reminder of the strange, inexplicable darkness that can sometimes touch even the most peaceful communities. Without a clear resolution, the narrative remained open, allowing for endless speculation. Some suggested Allison was indeed the barber, but the prosecution simply couldn't prove it. Others believed the real barber was a transient worker who simply passed through Pascagoula, never to return. The mystery endured, a whispered story in the humid Mississippi nights. The trail of the Phantom Barber grew colder with each passing year. The victims of the 1942 attacks moved on with their lives, forever marked by the bizarre violation. The investigators retired, carrying the weight of the unsolved case. Documents yellowed, memories faded, and the generation that lived through the terror slowly diminished. There were no new leads, no new evidence to resurface. The sheer oddity of the crime, combined with the limited forensic capabilities of the era, ensured its place in the annals of unsolved American mysteries. It became a relic of a different time, a peculiar footnote in criminal history. The very nature of the crime, its lack of conventional motive or physical harm, meant it wouldn't receive the same sustained attention as a murder case, yet its psychological impact was just as deep. The violation wasn't just physical, it was deeply personal, intimate, and unsettling precisely because it defied conventional criminal logic. Imagine waking up, seeing your locks shorn, and realizing a stranger had been inches from your face, wielding scissors while you lay utterly vulnerable in your own bed. This wasn't a robbery where an object was taken. This was a piece of you, hair, an intrinsic part of one's identity, especially for women in that era, vanished. It was an attack on one's sense of self, a stealthy, defiling act that left no bruises, no broken bones, but a pervasive sense of dread. The home, once a sanctuary, became a stage for a silent, unseen intrusion. The psychological footprint of the Phantom Barber was far more invasive than a simple theft. It left its victims with a profound sense of helplessness. How do you protect yourself from something you can't see, that makes no noise, and that attacks when you are most defenseless? The perpetrator wasn't seeking valuables. He was seeking access, control, and perhaps a perverse form of intimacy. What kind of mind finds satisfaction in this specific violation? This was the question that gnawed at Pascagoula, a town gripped by an invisible enemy whose agenda remained stubbornly opaque. The motive, or rather the stark absence of a conventional one, is what elevates the Phantom Barber from a petty criminal to a figure of psychological horror. We understand greed, anger, even passion, but what drives a man to creep into bedrooms, cut hair, and vanish into the night? Was it a fetish, a strange collection, a distorted expression of power? Without understanding the why, the who becomes even more elusive, a spectral figure conjured from the town's collective nightmares. The investigators, accustomed to tracing motives back to tangible gains or recognizable interpersonal conflicts, found themselves navigating a psychological labyrinth with no map. Consider the societal context of the 1940s South. Hair, particularly for women, held significant cultural weight. It was often a symbol of femininity, youth, and beauty. To have it forcibly cut, especially in such a clandestine manner, carried a profound stigma, a quiet shame for the victims. It was an assault on their public presentation, a violation that played out silently in their private lives but echoed in their self-perception. The barber didn't just cut hair, he snipped away at confidence, at peace of mind, at the very fabric of normal life. The details of the attacks, pieced together from victim testimonies, painted a consistent but perplexing picture. Entry through unlocked windows or screen doors, absolute silence, the swift, precise act of cutting. No other disturbance, no attempts at further contact, no spoken words, no physical assault beyond the cutting itself. This precision suggested a certain level of planning, perhaps even a practiced hand, yet the ultimate goal remained obscure. Was the barber a professional or someone with an unusual skill, perhaps a hairdresser or a barber by trade, ironically? This thought only deepened the unease. The tool of his bizarre crime was also his potential profession. The investigators were operating in an era before DNA evidence, before sophisticated fingerprint analysis was standard, before digital forensics, or even widespread use of psychological profiling. Their tools were limited: interviews, tracking footprints, searching for discarded implements, and relying heavily on eyewitness identification, which in the dead of night was often unreliable. The scant physical evidence, strands of hair, a disturbed screen, offered little to go on. There was no blood, no struggle, no clear weapon left behind, just the unsettling absence of what should have been there, and the disturbing presence of an unknown assailant. What if, one wonders, the Phantom Barber was not a solitary individual, but a local teenager, or a group of them, engaging in a cruel, escalating prank that spun terrifyingly out of control? The age of many victims, often young women or children, might lend itself to this theory, a kind of twisted game designed to sow chaos and fear. But the consistency and duration of the attacks, coupled with the sheer audacity of entering homes repeatedly without detection, suggest a more calculated, perhaps more disturbed mind. A prank typically has a reveal, a moment of gotcha. Here, there was only enduring silence and mounting dread. The case presented a unique challenge because it didn't fit into neat categories. It wasn't a robbery, yet possessions were altered. It wasn't a sexual assault, yet the intrusion felt deeply invasive and personal. It wasn't simple vandalism, as the target was living, breathing individuals. This ambiguity made it difficult for law enforcement to apply their standard protocols. They were chasing a phantom, a living enigma, who left only psychological scars and shorn locks as his calling card. This liminal space between traditional crime and pure psychological terror is precisely what makes the Pascagoula Barber so persistently compelling. It's in moments like these, when facing an elusive truth, that speculation flourishes, weaving itself into the town's collective memory. For those who lived through it, the fear was real, palpable. For subsequent generations, it became a story whispered on dark porches, a local legend. And while some dismiss such tales as mere folklore, it's worth remembering that every legend has its roots in a seed of truth, a real event that scarred a community. The sheer audacity of the Phantom Barber was almost cinematic, a silent horror playing out in a sleepy southern town. Think of the methodical approach, the observation of targets, the careful selection of homes, the silent entry, the swift action, and the undetectable exit. It speaks to a chilling level of self-control and perhaps a familiarity with the local environment. Was this an outsider passing through, or someone deeply embedded in the community, someone who knew the routines, the vulnerabilities, the unlocked windows? The latter thought is infinitely more disturbing. Consider the alternative perspectives. What if the victims, under the stress of the attacks, genuinely misremember details or embellish their accounts? The pressure to provide information to help catch the culprit could lead to unconscious distortions. However, the consistent pattern across multiple victims, often strangers to each other, suggests a genuine threat and not mass hysteria. The police took these accounts seriously, expending significant resources on the investigation, indicating they found credibility in the victims' stories. This wasn't just a handful of isolated incidents, it was a wave of terror. The idea that the perpetrator was someone local, perhaps even someone known to the victims in another context, is a terrifying possibility that often gnaws at small communities. Was it a neighbor, a delivery man, a local eccentric, or even a scorned suitor? The silence of the acts, the absence of any personal interaction, made it impossible to attribute a personal vendetta, yet the personal nature of the violation screams for one. This dichotomy, impersonal act, deeply personal violation, is key to its enduring mystery. This leads us back to the central question that haunted Pascagoula then and continues to intrigue us now. What was the true motive of the Phantom Barber, and who was he?
Was it a desperate cry for attention, a manifestation of a deep-seated psychological disorder, or something far more mundane and chilling, a simple desire to inflict fear and prove dominance? The human mind, especially one operating on the fringes of societal norms, can be an unfathomable labyrinth. Perhaps the most potent aspect of the Phantom Barber case isn't just the unsolved nature of the crime, but its ability to lay bare the vulnerabilities inherent in everyday life. We assume our homes are safe, our sleep undisturbed. The barber shattered that illusion for an entire town. He didn't just cut hair. He cut through the veneer of security, leaving behind a persistent scar on the town's psyche. It's a reminder that sometimes the most unsettling threats are those that defy our expectations, operating outside the predictable boundaries of criminal behavior. If you find yourself intrigued by the psychological depths of unsolved cases like this, where the motive is as elusive as the perpetrator, consider subscribing to Variety Crime. We delve into the shadowed corners of criminal history, seeking to understand the how and why that often remains stubbornly unanswered. The Allison prosecution, despite its failure, speaks volumes about the desperation of the authorities to bring closure. They had a suspect, a theory, but couldn't make it stick. This inability to secure a conviction likely cemented the phantom status of the barber, reinforcing the idea that he was untouchable, unknowable. It left a void, an open wound in the town's sense of justice. Without a definitive perpetrator, the story remained a ghost, lingering in the collective memory, a cautionary tale that refused to fade. Imagine the dinner table conversations in the years that followed. The quiet anxieties when a screen door rattled in the night, the extra locks, the drawn blinds, the whispered warnings to children. This wasn't just about catching a criminal, it was about restoring a fundamental sense of safety that had been brutally, quietly stolen. The Phantom Barber became a boogeyman, a convenient explanation for any unexplained rustle or shadow. The absence of an answer allows the fear to mutate, to adapt, to persist in ways a solved case simply cannot. And what of the victims? While some details of their lives after the attacks might be lost to time, their experience would have been indelible. How do you move on from knowing someone invaded your most private space and violated your person in such an intimate, bizarre way? The psychological trauma, though not immediately visible, could have lingered for years, decades. The stolen hair was a small physical loss, but the stolen peace of mind was immeasurable. They were forced to reconcile with the fact that their understanding of the world, of safety, was fundamentally flawed. The passage of time, while it dulls the sharp edges of memory, often only deepens the mystery of such cases. With each generation, the facts become intertwined with local lore, the concrete details soften into myth. The Phantom Barber of Pascagoula is no longer just a criminal case. It's a testament to the strange, sometimes terrifying undercurrents that can run through even the most ordinary of places. It's a chilling narrative about vulnerability, the power of the unknown, and the limits of human understanding in the face of truly aberrant behavior. Perhaps this case also serves as a stark reminder of how rapidly forensic science evolved. Had these crimes occurred even a few decades later, the outcome might have been vastly different. A single stray hair, a faint fingerprint, trace evidence from clothing, all could have been potential breakthroughs. In 1942, these were largely overlooked or technologically unrecoverable clues. The barber benefited from the primitive state of crime solving, disappearing into the shadows of technological limitations as much as into the Mississippi night.
The fascination with the Phantom Barber isn't just about morbid curiosity. It's about our innate human need for order, for explanation. When something defies logic, when a puzzle has no pieces that fit, it leaves a nagging void. The barber wasn't a force of nature. He was a human being, making his actions all the more disturbing. To truly understand the depths of human behavior, we often have to grapple with those who operate entirely outside our perceived norms. This case forces us to confront a discomforting truth. Not every question has an answer, and not every crime finds its perpetrator or its motive illuminated. Some mysteries, like the Phantom Barber, are destined to remain enshrined in ambiguity, serving as a permanent whisper from the past, a chilling reminder of the unknown that lies just beyond the veil of everyday life. Consider the bravery of the victims who came forward, enduring the scrutiny and the fear of a town under siege. Their stories, though traumatic, provided the only real window into the Phantom Barber's strange ritual. Without their accounts, the incidents might have been dismissed as isolated, bizarre occurrences, rather than connected acts of terror. They were the unwilling chroniclers of a unique chapter in criminal history. As we reflect on Pascagoula's brush with this peculiar menace, it's worth asking, have similar, lesser-known incidents occurred elsewhere, perhaps dismissed as pranks or isolated oddities, never connected into a pattern of psychological warfare? The Phantom Barber case forces us to consider the hidden dimensions of crime, those acts that aim not for material gain or direct physical harm, but for a far more insidious violation of peace and security. What other unsolved mysteries, perhaps ones you've encountered in your own local history, hold a similar psychological grip, even without a body count? Share your thoughts on such cases in the comments below. We're always looking to explore the hidden stories that defy easy explanation. The story of the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula is more than just an old newspaper headline. It's a profound narrative about fear, vulnerability, and the enduring human struggle to comprehend the incomprehensible. It's about a small town caught in the grip of an unseen force and the lasting echoes of a mystery that time has failed to resolve. The questions linger, hanging in the humid air of the Mississippi coast, waiting for an answer that may never come. The barber, a shadow in the night, carved his place into the annals of American crime, not with a knife or a gun, but with a pair of scissors and an inscrutable purpose, leaving behind only the chilling void of the unknown. This brings us to the final, lingering question. Will we ever truly understand the mind that orchestrated such a unique reign of terror? Or is the Phantom Barber destined to forever remain a ghost story, a testament to the darkest corners of human behavior, a mystery eternally shrouded in the silent, human nights of Pascagoula? Today, the question remains,
Who was the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula? What silent, compelling drive pushed them to creep into homes, scissors in hand, to claim locks of hair from unsuspecting women and children? The identity, their motive, and their eventual fate are all lost to time, swallowed by the decades. There are no definitive answers, only the chilling echo of a strange, unsettling period in a small Mississippi town. The case of the Phantom Barber serves as a stark reminder that not all crimes fit neat categories, and some mysteries are destined to remain forever just beyond our grasp. The profound impact on the victims and the community, however, is not lost, a lingering testament to the power of the unknown. If you've ever felt that chill down your spine from a mystery that can't be solved, then you understand the enduring power of the Phantom Barber. The Phantom Barber case forces us to consider the hidden dimensions of crime, those acts that aim not for material gain or direct physical harm, but for a far more insidious violation of peace and security. What other unsolved mysteries, perhaps ones you've encountered in your own local history, hold a similar psychological grip, even without a body count? Share your thoughts on such cases in the comments below. We're always looking to explore the hidden stories that defy easy explanation. The story of the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula is more than just an old newspaper headline. It's a profound narrative about fear, vulnerability, and the enduring human struggle to comprehend the incomprehensible. It's about a small town caught in the grip of an unseen force and the lasting echoes of a mystery that time has failed to resolve. The questions linger, hanging in the humid air of the Mississippi coast, waiting for an answer that may never come. The barber, a shadow in the night, carved his place into the annals of American crime, not with a knife or a gun, but with a pair of scissors and an inscrutable purpose, leaving behind only the chilling void of the unknown. This brings us to the final, lingering question. Will we ever truly understand the mind that orchestrated such a unique reign of terror? Or is the Phantom Barber destined to forever remain a ghost story, a testament to the darkest corners of human behavior, a mystery eternally shrouded in the silent, humid nights of Pascagoula? Today, the question remains, who was the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula? What silent, compelling drive pushed them to creep into homes, scissors in hand, to claim locks of hair from unsuspecting women and children? The identity, their motive, and their eventual fate are all lost to time, swallowed by the decades. There are no definitive answers, only the chilling echo of a strange, unsettling period in a small Mississippi town. The case of the Phantom Barber serves as a stark reminder that not all crimes fit neat categories, and some mysteries are destined to remain forever just beyond our grasp. The profound impact on the victims and the community, however, is not lost, a lingering testament to the power of the unknown. If you've ever felt that chill down your spine from a mystery that can't be solved, then you understand the enduring power of the Phantom Barber.
What other strange, unexplained criminal cases have left you completely baffled? Let us know in the comments below. The legacy of the Phantom Barber is not one of violence or grand scheme, but of psychological intrusion and the disruption of a community's peace. It's a story that highlights the vulnerability we all feel within our own homes, especially when faced with a threat that defies logic and motive. The perpetrator vanished as silently as they appeared, leaving behind a series of bizarre incidents, a trail of cut hair, and an enduring question mark in the history of crime. The homes along the Gulf Coast eventually felt safe again, but the memory of the elusive intruder, the quiet terror of 1942, remains a compelling, unresolved chapter in Pascagoula's past.